And again, in the legal system, my venue, the nation's poor who need assistance the most remain the least likely to get it. Jimmy Carter said 30 years ago, in what I thought was an exaggeration, that we have the heaviest concentration of lawyers on earth, but 90% of them serve 10% of our people. We are over-lawyered and underrepresented. Study after study shows, and we just did one again in the South, that at least 80% of the legal need of the poor is unmet, fencing out millions on the most crucial issues of life, making a mockery of the phrase equal justice under law that we carve on our courthouse walls in every state and every county and every city in this country. And even in our politics, most foundational of all, it still seems that you have to pay in order to play. We may be the only people in the world who think that our elected officials walk up to total strangers, ask them for thousands or now, I guess, hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. They get it and are completely unaffected by it, achieving a state of perfect ingratitude. A system of government in which those who seek certain policies are allowed to give unlimited amounts of money to those who make the policies, which is what we have, can be called many things. But democratic and fair are not on the list. And finally, how can we have been satisfied when decade after decade, in cultural arena after cultural arena, in election after election, even including our last historic presidential race, these disparities are barely even discussed. In law, in politics, in philosophy, in the academy, even in our pulpits, we turn our gaze away, to use Paul's phrase, from those locked at the bottom of American life, coming to think that a regime of economic apartheid is unassailable and unavoidable and untroubling. Lincoln said that the central purpose of America was that the weak would gradually be made stronger and ultimately all would have an equal chance. But what was central for Lincoln has become foreign to us. The frank truth is, if the exclusions and indignities of American poverty are right, then our Constitution is wrong. If the debilitations of those locked at the bottom are acceptable, then our scriptures are wrong. If these denials of equal citizenship and humanity are permissible, then we pledge allegiance to a cynical illusion, not to a founding creed. And I think we know it. So like Lyndon Johnson once said, we may not know everything, but we know the difference between chicken shit and chicken salad. So many millions of our sisters and our brothers have been in deep, deep exigency long before the crashes of 2008 and 2009. And we have been satisfied with barriers and exclusions and denials of opportunity that we should not have countenanced, not if we are who we say we are, not if we are the people that we claim to be, not if we believe what we say we believe, not if we are the polity we have assumed ourselves to be. So let me go back one last time to your friend and sort of founding cohort, Lyndon Johnson. Maybe I just have an affinity for big overweight Texans with a southern drawl. But Johnson said under similar circumstances, something I've never been able to get totally out of my mind. Rarely in any time does an issue lay bare the secret heart of America itself. Rarely are we met with a challenge not to our growth or our abundance or our security, but rather to the values and the purposes and the meaning of our beloved nation. And should we defeat every enemy, and should we double our wealth and conquer the stars, and still be unequal to this task, then we would have failed as a people and as a nation. For with a country as with a person, what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? What does it profit if he should lose his soul? This, simply put, is the core of your effort, the core of your mission, the work of this community and this nation's soul. I wish it weren't as difficult or as challenging or as lonely as it is. We could wished that such powerful forces weren't arrayed against it, or that so many, while not ill-motivated, weren't so willing to turn their head away from it, from these transgressions against freedom and dignity and hope. But it's helpful sometimes, when thinking of the great challenges, to remember those who have gone before. And when you ponder it, I'm pretty sure that Fannie Lou Hamer didn't do an opinion poll when she started the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, and Rosa Parks didn't conduct a focus group before she sat down for freedom. This isn't the first time that people in this room have worked for justice against the odds. It is your heritage, your defining mission, your naming purpose. So I hope we'll recommit ourselves as we try to bail ourselves out to a higher citizenship of patriotism and obligation. One that recalls, first and foremost, the greatest American value is that we are all in this together. That there can be no excuse for the richest nation in human history talking incessantly about equal opportunity and equal citizenship and dignity and common cause, and doing so little, relatively speaking, to make those idle promises real, betraying the literal challenge of America itself. So, my hat's off to you. I hope you subscribe to it. You declare your commitment. We enroll our hearts. We enlift our spirits. We enlist because somewhere we read, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal. And somewhere we read of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And somewhere we read history will judge us on the extent to which we've used our gifts to lighten and enrich the lives of our fellows. And somewhere we read that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And somewhere we read we have to believe the things we teach our children, believe them and make them real. And somewhere we read that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And somewhere we read, most of us, whenever you did these things for the least of these, you did them for me. And that same group read, you reap what you sow. And somewhere we read that the pursuit of justice and the pursuit of happiness can be as one. They march not in opposite directions, but hand in hand. And somewhere we read, today with Dr. King, no, we are not satisfied and we will not be satisfied till justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Congratulations and thank you for your help.